of things, majority of women don't know little to nothing about this breast cancer. And this breast cancer, it is something that is common in our community, it is common in our society, it is common in our nation, in our country at large. In fact, it is scientifically proven that black women will have black women have high chance of developing this breast cancer. As I have already introduced myself before, I am Mumina Ahmed Abisola Bedemuke. So that is my AMAG. So most people know me as AMAG. I'm a licensed pharmacy technician and also a PharmD student at Usmanu Danfodiyo University, Sokoto. I am the founder of Femi Healthcare Hub, a platform that is dedicated to empowering and guiding women's health, educating women about their health, especially those that has to do with their reproductive health, menstrual health, sexual health, and overall wellness. So to follow this our agenda, the very first thing we are going to look at is what cancer truly is, because most of us, we don't really know what cancer is. Some people will say cancer, is it that I will contact it from somebody, or is it something that I will develop from a certain food or this or that? So we are going to uncover what cancer is and what cancer is not. Now, to start with, we need to look at what cancer is. Now, cancer is simply an abnormal cell growth. As we might know that, especially if you are a science student, you know that cell is a basic and functional unit of living organism. Cell is something that is common, that we can find in every living organism. So far something is living, that thing must have cell. Like human or animal or plants, we all have cell, which constantly divides and develop. And this cell, whenever it grows abnormally, it results in what? Cancer. So this cancer develops as a result of abnormality in normal body physiology, like something that normally occurs, and when it is now occurring uncontrollably, abnormally, it results in cancer. Now we look at what cancer is not. Cancer is not a contagious disease. It is not caused by witchcraft or evil spirits. Okay, Shishaye, I'm sorry for those that don't understand Yoruba. So this, in fact, some people even believe that cancer, it only affects white women, like it is only white women that has cancer. No. In fact, study shows that the leading cause of cancer, the leading cause of death in black women is cancer, especially this breast cancer. So breast cancer is not something that only affects white women. It is not contagious. If anybody has cancer, you cannot contact it by merely touching the person. No, it's not something that is transmissible like that. Do you understand? It is only transmissible through what? Genetics or family history. Do you understand? Now, breast cancer is like a type of cancer. As you know that we have varieties of cancer. We have ovarian cancer, prostate cancer that affects men. There is blood cancer, a lot of cancer. There is bone cancer. Cancer can affect any cells of the body. But this breast cancer is a type of cancer that starts in the cell of the breast. It usually begins in the milk ducts. It's either it begins in the milk ducts or the lobes. The milk duct is the tube that carries milk to the nipple. You know our nipple? There is a particular tube that carries milk to that nipple. If the cancer develops from there, they can say this cancer is what it arises from the milk duct. Or it can also arise from what? From the nodules, that is the gland that produces milk, can also be cancerous. Sometimes it can be affected sometimes. So breast cancer that begins in the milk duct, we often call it ductal carcinoma. So whenever you hear that somebody has ductal carcinoma, it means that the breast cancer affects what? The milk duct. It arises from the milk duct. Why the one that arises in the lobes is called lobular carcinoma. Are you following? So as I was saying, this breast cancer, it can also be in situ or invasive. What do I mean by in situ? Breast cancer is in situ when it is only in what the affected area. Let's say a cancer that affects the duct is only in the duct. It hasn't spread to other breast tissue. That is in situ. The one that affects the nodules, it arises from the nodules and it hasn't spread to other breast tissue. That is in situ. And this in situ breast cancer is what is considered to be the stage 0. And oftentimes, if it is detected at this stage, the prognosis is better. In fact, it is the best because it can easily be eradicated without any need to remove the breast or this thing. This cell, the particular cell that is affected, will only be removed. That is why it is always better to be detected at this stage. So whenever it is invasive, it means that it has gone beyond the affected part. It has spread to other parts of the breast. It can even spread to other parts of the body. That is what we call metastasis. That is, it means that this breast cancer, the affected cell, the cancerous cell, has metastasized. Do you understand me? So that means it is invasive. This invasive stage is often from stage 1 to stage 4, depending on the severity of the stage when it is detected. Do you understand? Okay, we are saying that abnormal cell growth. Okay, how does this abnormal cell, how does it grow? How does it occur in the body? We need to understand because it is something in us. We need to understand how this thing functions. And if you don't understand how the cells grow normally, there is no way we are going to understand how cancer develops. So now we are going to dive into how the process of cell growth in the body. Then we now look at how it relates to what cancer. We need to look at how does cell divide in the body system. As you might know that, especially if you are a science student, you are going to relate well with me. Cell is essential and it is in the body system it's what makes up our body system as a living organism, like plants, animal, fungi, and including we that we are human. We are made of cells, and these cells that we are talking about, it originates from pre-existing cell. Like, what do I mean by pre-existing cell? So there is no way we are going to talk about this that we will not dive into cell division. I'm sorry. I love to give detailed explanation, so I will just divert. Cell division. How does cell divide? This cell division is of two types. We have mitosis and meiosis. So it is the process by which our cells multiply to make more cells for growth and repair. Because for us to be able to grow from childhood, even when we are a fetus, like when we are in our mother's womb, for us to grow till we reach the stage to be given birth to, till now that we have, it is the constant cell division that makes us to keep growing. And this cell division is of two types. The mitosis is one that is essential for growth, for cell growth and repair, while meiosis is only for what? Female cell, like the sperm cell and the egg cell. As the cell comes from pre-existing cell, during mating, when sperm cell and egg, which is the ova, when they meet, they fertilize and become one cell, which is that zygote. It becomes one cell. This one cell that it becomes is like a single cell. This single cell is the pre-existing cell. The cell will keep multiplying. That one cell will become two. The two cell will undergo cell division again. Like one cell will be divided into two. Two will become four. Four will become 8. 8 will become 6, like that, like that, like that. The cell will become specialized. Some group of cells will come together to form a particular tissues. Group of tissues will come together to form a particular organ. Group of organ make up the system, and group of system make up the what? The whole organism. Why are we saying this? The science behind me that make me to be different from when I was 5 is cell division. Constant division of the cell is what makes us to keep growing. And when we are saying cell growth, cells don't grow by increasing in size. It increase in number. It keeps dividing, like geometrically. How is this cell division in line with cancer? There is something we call cell cycle. This cell has the cycle. Now, and out of this 100% of this cycle, is only 25% that is required for the cell to divide. The remaining 75% is for the cell to develop and to carry out some specific function in the body. And this is how it has been regulated, because if the cell keeps dividing, we are just going to be growing, having unexplained heights, unexplained weights. This is how Allah has already perfected the body function. Like, this is the exact time, the period of time that the cells is going to divide. The other time, the remaining period is for developing and carrying out body function. As I said earlier, whenever cell divides uncontrollably, that is when it spent more than this 25% in the division aspect, it leads to cancer, because there is going to be more cell than required. And normally in healthy breast tissues, the cell grows, it divides, and it dies in a controlled way. It has been controlled. There is a specific time. If you are a biology student or you know biology, you know that we have interphase, we have protease, we have prophase, we have metaphase, we have anaphase, we have telophase, like that. So all those stages are there. It has been regulated or controlled. Whenever cell divides, without following this pattern, it leads towards cancer. So in breast cancer, the cell in the midduct or the lobes, it grows uncontrollably. And this cell that grows uncontrollably is going to come together and accumulate to form a lump or mass, which usually felt in the breast or underarm. So this lump that we are talking about is not only the breast that it affects. If it affects the breast, we call it breast cancer. If it is the ovary that it affects, we call it ovarian cancer. If it is prostates, which is usually common in men, it is prostate cancer, like that. So I want to discuss how breast cancer develop and why. Now we need to look at some factors that contribute. You know that normally as we have been created, our cells are supposed to be dividing in a controlled manner. Okay, what can now make the cell to be dividing uncontrollably? These are the various factors. The first one is genetic mutation. What do I mean by genetic mutation? Mutation is whenever there is irreversible or permanent changes in the body genes, in the nucleotide sequence of the body. What do I mean by nucleotide sequence? I don't want to be using too much terminology. Like, there is a particular gene in the body. Like, there are a lot of genes in our body. Gene that is responsible, that translates into a particular protein, that's responsible for every part of our body. Our eye color, there is gene responsible for it. Our genotype, there is gene responsible for it. Even now, the way our brain is functioning, there is a particular gene responsible for it. The same thing applies to breast cancer. There is a particular gene in the body that is controlling the cells growth, the breast cells growth. We call it BRCA1 and 2, like the short form for breast cancer gene. This breast cancer gene, their purpose, their main function is to prevent us from having cancer. That is how perfect Allah is. Like, it has already created us. Like, this cell, it must not grow like beyond this period. This is when it should grow. This is the gene that's controlling it. So whenever this gene is mutated, what I mean by mutation? Whenever this gene has been disturbed, maybe a particular nucleotide or a particular sequence, as it's either it's deleted or it is duplicated, or it is in fact like this gene is not going to function as it is supposed to be functioned. And one amazing thing about that gene is whenever it is mutated, let's say it is mutated in a mother, the mother carries like beyond this period. This is when it should grow. This is the gene that's controlling it. So whenever this gene is mutated, what I mean by mutation? Whenever this gene has been disturbed, maybe a particular nucleotide or a particular sequence, as it's either it's deleted or it is duplicated, or it is in fact like this gene is not going to function as it is supposed to be functioned. And one amazing thing about that gene is whenever it is mutated, let's say it is mutated in a mother, the mother carries that gene that mutant gene. It will not function as it's supposed to function, and that gene can be transferred to the offspring. It can be transferred to either daughter or son. That is why men can have breast cancer. Any men that possess this mutant gene will have breast cancer. Do you understand me? So this BRCA1 and 2, they are genes that are supposed to be protecting our body, our breast specifically, the breast cell from dividing uncontrollably. So whenever this gene is mutated, it is not going to function. So the breast of the gene will be multiplying without any control. Another factor is hormonal influence. What do I mean by hormonal influence? There's a particular hormone that is common, that's circulating in the body, in female body system, with their estrogen and progesterone. These hormones, they are essential. They are the one that regulate our menstruation. The time we menstruate, they are the one that regulate it. When you are pregnant, the hormone that is circulating in your body that kills the baby to keep growing in the uterus is progesterone. Like these hormones are there that nourish the baby. The hormones that helps in breast milk, how the breast is what to develop, so that you should be able to have enough milk to nourish the baby, is this progesterone and estrogen that they are working together. And this progesterone, they must have there's a particular level that they must reach in the body. Whenever these hormones are too much, they are going to cause a lot of things in the body, and one of it is cancer. And there is a particular cancer that we call hormone sensitive cancer, because there are a lot of cancer. Some cancers are hormone sensitive, some are not hormone sensitive. Those that are hormone sensitive, the cells that are sensitive to this hormone are already in the breast. So whenever there is high level of this hormone circulating in the body, especially estrogen, whenever there is high level of estrogen, too much of estrogen in the body system, and that person has this cell that's sensitive, this breast cell that's sensitive to estrogen, it will trigger the cell to be dividing, to be multiplying uncontrollably. Also, some lifestyle factors like obesity, too much of fat in the body system. If your fat, the weight, let me say weight, your weight is beyond the normal weight you are supposed to have. Your normal weight, it will be measured with respect to your height. If you want to determine whether you are obese or not, it's not about how huge you are. You just need to calculate your height, you calculate your weight, you divide it. Like you can go to any clinic or any pharmacy that you meet a healthcare professional to guide you. They're going to calculate to weigh you, then they're going to measure your height, they calculate it to be able to know whether you are obese or not. So whenever you know that you are fall under obese, like you have obesity, the best thing is just to try as much as possible to reduce fat, because when you have too much of fat in the body, it's going to trigger the estrogen to be secreting. So you have too much of estrogen, and having too much of estrogen is a danger. It's high risk of developing what? Breast cancer. Inactivity, not engaging in physical activity, also contributes to breast cancer. And not only breast cancer. And how does it happen? When you are not engaging in physical activity, the calorie that you are supposed to burn, it will not burn. Those calories will keep accumulating and forming fat in your body system. And when you have too much of fat, the fat is going to be what to stimulate the cell, the estrogen hormone to be increasing. When you have too much of estrogen circulating your breast system, as I said earlier, you have high risk of developing breast cancer. Another one also is alcohol consumption. You must not take alcohol, whether it is for medicine, because some people they believe that if they want to take a particular medicine, they need to use alcohol. No matter what it should be, you must not take alcohol, especially as a female, because alcohol can disrupt your body system, the hormones, anything in the body system. Like, it has a lot of more danger than the benefit parts. For me, I don't know whether there is a particular, because there is no benefit part from the alcohol. Those things that people feel like, okay, this thing is the benefit they are deriving from it. It's not. It will actually what affects their body system at the end of the day. Smoking also contributes to cancer, not only breast cancer, any form of cancer. And smoking sometimes is not necessary that you are the one smoking. Whenever we say smoking, it means that you must not inhale any smoke. Any smoking from anywhere, even smoke from vehicle, it is poisonous to the cell, to the body cell. Smoke from burning refuse is poisonous. Even some people, they will not smoke, but they will sit beside people that are smoking. They will be in an environment of smokers, and you know that even second-hand smokers, they have this high chance. They are the one taking the high risk from this smoking, because those people they are smoking, they are inhaling it out. But you that you are not smoking, that you sit beside them, you are the one that you are inhaling it in, and at the same time you limit the amount of smoked food that you are eating. Smoked fish, anything smoked, it should not be constant. It should not be something that will be taken every day. And whenever we want to take smoked fish, we make sure that we use hot water to remove all the black parts of it. Now, so let's look at some signs or obvious sign of breast cancer, or subtle sign of breast cancer. The very first one is a lump. That is usually common. A lump in the breast. And what is this lump that we are talking about? Whenever you touch your breast and you feel like something is hard, it might be painful, it might not be painful, but you are feeling, normally the texture of the breast is soft. So whenever you see that something is hard in your breast or the armpits, that is what lumps is. So that lumps, it may be underarm, as I said, it might be around it. Sometimes it can even be towards your neck, the upper part of your breast. That's the first sign of breast cancer. The second one is changes in breast size or shape. You should be aware of your breast size, the shape of your breast. Whenever you are noticing that your breast is what is increasing in size day by day, or the shape is somehow is changing as normal as it was, that is one of the signs of breast cancer. And the third one is skin deepening or pucking, like the breast skin that look like an orange peels. Like, let me show you the picture. So can you see the image I sent? So this is how it will look like. So whenever a breast is like this, so it's one of the signs of breast cancer. So it calls for attention. The fourth one is nipple changes. When the nipple changes, maybe it turns inward. Normally, the nipple should come out. Whenever it's turned inward, or the nipple there is redness in the nipple, or there is any form of inflammation around the breast, there is discharge. You are not breastfeeding and your breast is discharging like something like water or bloodly discharge. So it's part of sign of breast cancer. So whenever the nipple turn inward like this and it doesn't come out, so it's one of the signs of breast cancer. Like this, it requires that you pay attention or you seek medical advice. So having unusual breast pain, normally breast should not be painful. So whenever you are not expecting menstruation, breast tenderness is one of the PMS, premenstrual syndrome. But you're not expecting menstruation. Maybe even after your menstruation, you're still feeling pain. Your breast is heavy. It is tender. So it signifies that there is a problem with that breast. You seek medical advice immediately. So having discussed the factor that contribute to abnormal growth of breast cell that leads to breast cancer, so we need to look at how can we protect ourselves, how can we prevent this abnormal cell growth in the breast. So this part, I categorize it into 4. The very first one is lifestyle habits. Your habit matters a lot, and that's why I put it as the first one. The first one is your weight. Maintain healthy weight. Ensure that the normal weight you are supposed to have with respect to your height is the weight you have. Whenever you detect that your weight is beyond the normal range, you try as much as possible to do what? To bring it down. Because when you have excess body fat, as I said earlier, it's going to increase the estrogen level, and estrogen, when it is too much, it stimulates breast cancer. Another one is exercise regularly. My sisters and almost in the house, please exercise regularly. And exercising doesn't mean that you should be running up and down. Even in your room, 15 minutes or 10 minutes of morning exercise contributes to a lot. Like it does a lot. When you wake up in the morning, after prayer, after adhkar, you exercise, you stretch all the joints, your body, your leg, your hand, like little exercise, or even walking is part of exercise. Try as much as possible to walk at least 30 minutes per day in every day. Make sure you walk at least for 30 minutes. Don't just be like from house to your car or to office, like that. Try as much as possible to engage in physical activity, and also avoid alcohol. By all means, avoid smoking. Limit your intake of smoked food, and if you should take smoked food, like smoked fish and other food that are smoked, ensure that you use hot water to remove some dark parts of those smoked food. The second category is diet and nutrition. The type of food determines how your body system functions. Eat plenty of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, vegetable. That's why you see those people in olden days, we are saying that all those are our forefather and foremother. There is nothing like cancer during their own time. Why is it that all those diseases that doesn't exist then is now common nowadays? It's because of the type of lifestyle that we are living now, civilized one. We don't eat natural food. We base our life on what? Artificial, processed food with a lot of chemical preservative. But those women and those men then, they eat vegetables, they eat their pepper fresh, they eat their vegetables fresh from farm, they eat fruits, varieties of fruits. So if we can also implement this thing, like make sure that we are eating fruits, at least a type of fruit a day. If you take orange today, take banana tomorrow, take apple next tomorrow, vegetables at least 2 times in a week, eat fruits, eat whole grains, all those things, they help the body system to function properly, and they help to remove toxins, harmful substances from the body. The same thing is processed food. Let's try as much as possible to limit our processed food, all those canned food, say tomato paste. It is better and healthier to buy raw tomato, unprocessed one. It is good for our health than those processed tomato. And if those tomato, they are going to do the same thing, because that processed one already has preservative that added to it to keep it, that will not make it to deteriorate. Those chemicals, whenever they are too much, they interrupt with our body cells function in the interrupt with the function of the body cell. So let's limit processed food, processed fish, canned fish, all those titles and all those things. You're going to get a lot of nutrients from eating those raw fish. Go to the market, buy your fish raw, cook them yourself. There is nothing special in all those food. They are only adding problem to our body system. Red meats, high fat dairy, eating too much of something like a lot of unsaturated fats, a lot of fried food, something that is fried. You want to eat your fish, you can eat fried fish, but don't let it be constant, especially if you know that you are a kind of person that is somehow choppy, you have a lot of fat. You limit your fat. Instead of eating your fish fried, eat them like normal boiled one. It's going to reduce the risk of developing more fats. At the same time, ensure that you include antioxidants fruit like orange, like what other thing, apple also. You get antioxidant like vitamin C, most especially food that are rich in vitamin C. Make sure you are taking them. It's not necessary that you are taking supplement. If you can afford to take supplement, take antioxidant supplement. But if you cannot afford, sometimes even if you work on your food alone, you are going to get a lot of benefits from it than taking all those medications. But if you know that you are kind of person that you are too busy to be eating all these things, ensure that you get a perfect supplement that's going to be giving you all these nutrients, all this nutritional value. Another category is hormonal and reproductive choice. Yes, it is scientifically proven that breastfeeding reduces the rate of developing breast cancer, because during the time you are breastfeeding, the estrogen level is going to drop. And when the estrogen level is reduced, the body, especially those breast cancer that develop as a result of too much of estrogen in the body, you don't have that kind of cancer. And at the same time is early childbirth. Like if you are lucky to marry early and you start having your children early, so you will not be exposed to all these estrogen, hormone, too much of estrogen. So the risk of developing breast cancer, it will be reduced. And also when you have multiple pregnancy, during pregnancy there is going to be low levels of estrogen in your body system, and during the time you are breastfeeding as well, you are going to have low level of estrogen. So for some people that they usually do this, like after from one pregnancy to breastfeeding to nursing baby, from nursing baby to another pregnancy, like that. So they have the low risk of developing breast cancer. And the last category is regular screening. Regular screening and self-check. And this is essential. If you are, for people that are already 40 and above, or if you have any mother or grandparent that are already 40 and above, it is always advisable for them to be going for mammogram once in a year. So this mammogram is going to detect even a lump that the ants cannot detect, is going to detect it. So it is always better to go for it, especially for all those aged women. It is important. And for those that are not up to 40, breast self-exam is enough to be checking yourself after your menstruation. Some days, maybe 5 to 7 days after menstruation, you check your breast, which I'm going to show you how to do in the next, that's the next thing now. So you check your breast for lumps. So whenever you feel like some mass, like any lumps in your armpit or your breast, or you are feeling a kind of unusual changes in your breast, so you seek medical advice. And remember that I said earlier that when breast cancer is in situ, that is when it is only the affected part that it hasn't spread to other parts of the body, it can be easily eradicated. That particular cell is going to just be removed from the body system. Do you understand? And another way also is clinical breast exam. For some people that they feel like they want a health professional to check their breast for them, you can actually go to any clinic of your choice. You will see a doctor or anybody that is in charge. They are going to check your breast for you for not. So if you can be doing that constantly as well, is a form of protecting yourself from the risk of breast cancer. And for those who have family history of breast cancer, especially if you have a male in the family that has breast cancer, it is always advisable and recommended to go for genetic testing. So this genetic testing is going to test whether you possess the gene that can possibly trigger breast cancer. So, and through this, if it is detected earlier that somebody has this gene, this mutant gene, even if the breast cancer hasn't developed, it will give you a clue like, okay, you need to be checking your breast. Like, you are going to be, so that person is going to be extra careful in checking breast, going for screening like that. So if possibly it's going to develop, it's going to be catched earlier and it's going to be successfully eradicated. And the last but not the least is how can we check our breast for lumps and other signs of breast cancer? I've already created a video on how to do this. I'm going to share you the video. And before I share the video, I'm going to just briefly explain, because that video, I'm going to put it on free once. So ensure that you carefully watch it. And if you don't understand anything, if you need to rewatch the video, you can always reach out to me. So the first thing that you are going to do is you look for a mirror. There are two ways of checking it. You can do it in front of a mirror, or you can do it by lying on a bed using pillow. If you want to do it in front of a mirror, you look for a mirror that is big enough to show your body from your navel towards your head. Like these are going to show that, like you'll be able to see your breast clearly. And you should be aware of your breast texture before. Your breast color, the skin color of your breast. If you're somebody like, that your skin color, your breast skin color is always like some like, it's not that light, but it is dark. So, and you notice that there's a particular change, it will signify that you need to pay attention to your breast. So you look for a mirror, you stand in front of a mirror. So you look for your breast, you look at your breast, two breasts, you look at it, whether there is increase in size. If there is increase in size, if not, you look for the texture, the changes in texture. You look for whether there is any sign of inflammation, like redness. So after doing that, then your breast is like 2, then your hand also is 2. If you want to start, it's only advisable to start with your right side. So you put your right hand, you put it over your head. I will share the video, don't worry. So you put it over your head. So when you put it over your head, you now use the second hand, the 3 middle finger of the second hand, you use it to be checking your breast. And before you check your breast, as you raise your hand, your breast must follow your hand. Like, it's going to lift. Your breast must lift. Whether you are a breastfeeding mother or you are a single sister, there is no how. Whenever you raise your hand, your breast must follow that hand, like it must lift a little bit. Do you understand? So after doing that, you place your hand over your head. When you place your hand over your head, you use the other hand, the 3 middle finger of the other hand, to be checking your breast, starting from your armpit. You check it down. You'll be checking. As you're checking it, you'll be pressing it, whether there is something that is hard, like a mass or a numbness there. You check your arm, the underarm. You check it over your neck. You check every part of your breast. You check your nipple. You check the other side. You do the same thing for the other side as well. Then you try to squeeze your breast. You try to squeeze your breast, whether there will be any discharge. So whenever there is discharge, you are not breastfeeding and your breast is discharging, so it signifies there is a problem with the breast. You understand me? Yes. Although breastfeeding mother has lower risk of having breast cancer, but breastfeeding mother can also check, just like, and it doesn't take time. So you feel like you want to check your breast, it's always good to know your body system. So just try and check. There's no problem with that. But as a breastfeeding mother, you have like a very low risk of having breast cancer. So alhamdulillah, this comes to the end of this breast cancer breast self check. challenge. So, and it is not end, yes, because it is something like it is a journey, it is not a destination, because we need to keep reminding ourselves that we must always check our brace. So inshallah, if there's going to be like a rare, maybe once in a week reminder in this group, ensure that you don't leave this group, because we want to make this group like let us impact many lives. Let us impact many lives. My goal is to empower at least 1,000 women with this challenge. So please, let's try as much as possible to share this flyer, to invite our friends, our families, or any amazing woman in your life, because we need to keep checking our breast constantly. What can you say about this program? So I'm so sorry, like the way it's like, if you feel like there is something that you don't like about the programs, let us know. What can you say about this program? And if you have any question to ask as well, feel free to do so. Oftentimes, cancer loans is painless. That is why it is like a silent killer. Seriously, it's a silent killer, because sometimes that you will see that there is a particular number. If you are touching it, it just be rolling around. It will not be painful. Like most of the cancer, those malignant cancer cell, we call it malignant tumor, because there is two types of tumor. We have benign, we have malignant. It's not all lumps that can result to cancer. Some lumps that they are not cancerous, but you cannot say. So that's why it's always good to always check any lumps. Some lumps that are benign, and those benign cancers, the benign lumps, they are the ones that are always painful. You see that those malignant tumor, malignant lumps that can metastasize, that can spread to other part of the body, they are always like, most of them are painless.